Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy. It's always my pleasure to be greeting you and bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look in order to discover that your real identity is your divinity and that it is your own thoughts that is creating your reality. Therefore, you can create your reality consciously. So, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, before I go into my topic, I just want to remind you concerning my BlackMadGuru merch. I like for you to check the link below and to support this merch. So let me just give thanks to you in advance for supporting this work in every way. Now, when it comes to the all-seeing eye of God, many people who do not understand the language of symbology will call the eye of God, the symbol of the eye of God, an evil symbol. And because of a lack of knowledge, people are destroyed. And where there's no vision, the people perish. Now, before I speak about the all-seeing eye of God, I want to lay down the foundation of my teaching for you, especially if this is the very first time that you're listening to me. Now, I teach that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. That the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history. And it was written symbolically. Therefore, it has no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago or to any actual event that would have taken place on earth thousands of years ago. For from the beginning of the Bible to the ending of the Bible, it's all a great psychological drama. It's a play. It all have to do with the human psyche. And this life, it's a game. And you can either learn to play the game or be played by the game. So many who believe that the Bible is literal and secular history, they believe that the devil or Satan is a power or entity outside of themselves, just as they believe that God is a power or entity outside of themselves too, and that God is a man in the sky and the devil is a man that lives under the earth. Okay? But when you understand that there's no action that can take place in one's life that wasn't for a thought or for an idea, you'll understand that people who are thinking this way, they're missing the law of mentalism. That everything must first be a thought, everything must first be an idea, everything must first be imagined. And they fail to realize that all things exist in the human imagination. And the reason why I say human imagination, it is because we are having a human experience. Because we are first of all spirit, having a human experience. That is why we must worship God in spirit and in truth. But we must know who is God. So to understand the all-seeing eye of God, you have to know who is God. Okay? Now, the eternal body of man is the imagination. And that is God himself. And there's no other God. That's why everything in this world that was made, it was first imagined. And everything else that ever going to be made, it must first be imagined. And if you believe that there is a creator, and there's only one creator, then you must know that there's only one creative power. And the only creative power there is on this earth is the power of imagination. There's no other. And the Bible clearly states what I am saying in St. John 1 and verses 3. But from St. John 1:1, it says, in the beginning was the Word. I remember word is a thought expressed. And the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him. And without him was not anything made that was made. That him is not a person. It is a personification of the human imagination. So most religious people, they are taking personification for persons. That's something you have to make sure explain to religious people like your friends, your relatives and so on, you know, your nearer kins. You have to take your time with them and explain to them certain things that would make sense, okay? Because remember, they were taught all of these things to interpret them a certain way all their life, okay? And you too. So they're taking personification for persons and they're taking allegory for history. So when you read in the Bible concerning Isaac and Jacob and Abraham and Sarah and Hagar and so on, the Bible tells you it's all allegory, and it's in Galatians chapter 4 and 24, so a person can read it for themselves, which means the story of Jesus and Mary, it's allegory too, because they tell you that Jesus came through that same lineage of Abraham. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to check that out for yourself also. Now, when it speaks of the eye of God, it is speaking about you having a vision or seeing in a way that is different to seeing through your two eyes. And that is why you must close your eyes to see through the eye of God, which is through the eye of imagination. Because it is just a metaphor when it speaks of the eye of God, or the ears of God, or the mouth of God. And it is said that God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. So God is everywhere. Because they want to teach you that it is the creative power that is everywhere. The creative power is all around us and in us. And so, when you understand that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, you have to realize that you have to vibrate to that God frequency to discover your higher self, to discover that your real identity is your divinity. That's the reason why it tells you in Proverbs chapter 15 and verses 3 concerning the eyes of the Lord. But I'm going to read from verses 1 for you where it says, "It's soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger." And here it is dealing with the mind. Everything comes from the mind. Everything has to first be a thought, it has to first be an idea, it has to first be imagined. You can't speak a word and it wasn't first a thought, or first an idea, first imagined. Okay? As I said before, that a word is a thought expressed, is the expression. Every action is an expression of a thought also. That's why it says in verses 2, "The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright." Okay? That's why we would speak things to uplift humanity, not to destroy humanity. We have to use this power constructively, not destructively. That's why people who are of a religious mentality, they always speak about destruction on the world. They always speak of judgment. They always try to bring shame and guilt and condemnation. But we are here to bring love and peace and joy and happiness and upliftment to all of humanity. He said, "But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness." You see, there's only two kind of people on the earth. And there's only one energy. And when I say two kind of people, I'm speaking about different arrangement of the same mind. So you have the foolish and the wise. It tells about the wise virgin and the foolish virgin. It's showing you those who are using this energy in a destructive way and thinking of themselves and thinking of others in a destructive way, in a negative way, and those who are thinking in a positive way. Yet we are all one, because it tells you that God created both good and evil. So there must be balance. It's the law of polarity. It's the law of contrast. If you would read Isaiah chapter 45 verses 5 to 7, you see that it tells you that God is the one who created both good and evil. Evil had to first be imagined. Evil, just the word live, spelled the other way around. So they're living in a backward way. They're seeing things in a backward way. Okay? So God created both good and evil, and God created light and darkness. You have to see it. You have to understand it. Okay? And understand why there must be balance. And also in Deuteronomy 32:39, yeah, it says that I am God and there's no other. It says, "I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal." That's why there's no condemnation. That's why I don't condemn or judge anyone. Okay? I just bring the truth to enlighten everyone who would listen to me with an open mind, Okay, verse 3 says, the eyes of the Lord, and remember the Lord is speaking of your I amness, your higher self, your true self, are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Remember, when you speak about God being omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, it is speaking of the intelligence. When it says that God is omnipresent, wherever you are, God is there also. That's why he says if you go to the bottom of the ocean, he's there. If you go to the eyesight, he's there. Because why? Because you are there. And it's the power in you and around you. So my brother and my sisters, always think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency so that you will understand the all-seeing eye of God when you see it in symbology. So many people see the symbol of the single eye and the US dollar, and they believe that it is an evil eye. They believe it's the all-seeing eye of Lucifer and all of this foolishness. Okay, and fail to understand it's just a symbol that represents the mind's eye, the eye of God, seeing things in your imagination. Okay, and that's why those who put it on the US dollar, they had knowledge of this power. But as I would have said before, many use this power to control others. But here in this time of the Great Awakening, we are saying that this power must be used to uplift each other. We can even use this power to put one in a place of affluence. We can use this power on behalf of another for good, not to hurt. So my brother and my sisters, learn to see things through the eye of God. When you see things through the eye of God, you don't condemn. You don't bring doubt. You don't bring fear. Have a conversation with someone with a religious mentality who believe in secular Christianity, and they always try to bring fear and judgment and condemnation to you, and they always have bad things to speak about money and to speak about the world. Yet they are in the world and they are working for money, and they are promised that they're supposed to be the head and not the tail. Yet they are the tail. They're supposed to be they're supposed to be the lenders and not the borrowers. Yet they are the borrowers, and they have the poorest and most miserable class in the world when they were supposed to be of the highest. If God is rich, then all of us are supposed to be rich. God is not poor, so why should you have virtue in poverty? But when you see it and you understand the law of polarity, you realize that there are some people, they're just not ready. And we have to understand that they're not ready. And we have to satisfy that they are not ready, because they have to be balanced. So we need the foolish also, because they need to have employers and employee. If everyone just wake up and understand this thing, what do you think would happen? Okay? The religious people are looking for a perfect world. You understand? But we know that they have to be balanced. You see? And that's why when the Bible speaks about heaven and it speaks about there will be no death and there will be no sorrow and so on, it is speaking about a body. When you're in that body, there will be no death, there will be no sorrow, there will be none of that when you're in that body. I'm speaking from experience, because you're coming to a place of bliss. So that's why I'm talking about not a geographical place you're going to go and there wouldn't be none of that. It's the body. Because you can create anything you want in that body. But you have to learn to understand that your spirit now and use it also. And have heaven and earth here. How do you want to go to a heaven and you're living in hell here? You live heaven here. So then you know what heaven is all about. That is all about the mind. So my brother and my sisters, that's why it's important for people to see things through the eye of God and live their life through the eye of God. You must have vision through the eye of God. That's why I say with all vision, with all inner understanding of the true self and of the inner world, and how everything is controlled and worked by laws, then you will understand that all of humanity are governed by certain laws, and all the universe are governed by certain laws, and you must align yourself by those laws to understand your higher self, your God self, your true self, so you can live the best version of your life. So my brother, my sisters, I just want to encourage you to always believe in the all-seeing eye of God, and do not call the all-seeing eye of God an evil eye. Some people call it the eye of Horus and so on. Some call it whatever they want to call it. But I am saying to you that there's an eye in you and that eye will awake within you. That's why, my brother and my sisters, I always say to you that hadn't it been that their single eye would have awakened within me, I would not be here bring this message to you. That's what I always say to you, that this message I bring to you, that it is the single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says that if I be single, your whole body will be full of light. And truly I've had that experience, and that is why I'm bringing this light to you, saying to you that you would have that great and mighty shaking, that great earthquake, and you will awake within yourself like a fire being. After you will have heard that unearthly wind, and that single eye will open within you, and you will change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye, and you will burst your crown chakra. Yes, you will burst your skull, and you will come out of your skull, the place of Golgotha. And you would understand the crucifixion, you will understand the virgin birth, you will understand everything that is written in the Bible, and know it to be your spiritual autobiography that must be interpreted psychologically. And then you will be above your skull, above your head. That's why you're told that there were tongues of fire above their head, because you will experience the upper room experience of Acts chapter 2, and then you speak the universal language of consciousness. That's why you mean to speak in tongues, you speak in other tongues. You speak in another language. That's why they would say you're crazy. And then you will understand that it is the rising of the S-U-N and the S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For truly the sun parallels the human imagination, the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the S-U-N there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination there isn't anything made that was made. And you're told in Psalms 84:11 that the Lord thy God is a sun, as in a S-U-N. That's why the Bible is the sun book, the S-U-N book, not the S-O-N. For no S-O-N can exist unless there be the first be the S-U-N. So no S-O-N could create the S-U-N. It's all foolishness, this Jesus and Mary story. And also, my brother and my sisters, when you realize that without the sun there is no life and there is no light, you realize also that without the human imagination there isn't anything made that was made. And you're told in Psalms 84:11, I think I would have said that before, that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And truly the Son has never withhold any good thing from humanity. For the Son is what powers all of humanity and gives all of humanity its energy. Therefore, my brothers and my sisters, that's the reason why you're told also in Malachi chapter 4 verses 2, that the Son of Righteousness shall arise in you, not outside of you, in you, with healing in his wings. And truly when the Son has risen in me, I'm bringing healing to all of humanity, pointing each and every one to look inwardly to discover that their real identity is their divinity, and to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your sun power, your God power, your creative power, which is actually the sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire and discover the all-seeing eye of God in you, who is your imagination, the creator in everyone. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.